Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today's podcast is called The Five Whys. And as usual, I will begin this podcast with a quote. I suppose it is tempting, if the only tool you have is a hammer, to treat everything as if it were a nail. And that's a quote by Abraham Maslow, or Maslow. The Five Whys technique is yet another tool that we could take possession of to use on our journey towards success. I know that during, the mini episodes of my podcast, we've talked about several different techniques that you could use in order to obtain success or to help you along the path towards success. We've talked about the concept of adapt, achieve, overcome, which is something that I've said repeatedly and it's kind of one of my favorites. It's something that I learned in boot camp at a young age. There's the 7 Hermetic principles. That's something that I've stumbled upon here recently when reading and doing research and participating in my own self-development. And I feel those are very strong principles that exist throughout life and help us take back our power in life to control our destinies, control our fate. Another one is the concept of emotional intelligence, how being in charge of our emotion and keeping ourselves centered, grounded, and present help us to better control ourselves, which then in turn helps us to better control our environment. And lastly, Jocko Willink's 4 laws of combat. We've gone over all of these on separate other episodes, so I'm not going to dive into them now. But the 5 Whys is just another tool that we could put in our tool bag, another aspect of this whole journey of life that helps us get more and more control over ourselves, which again will help us control our external environment. This strategy can be applied in the workplace, in your daily life, and can even act as an aid in helping you address aspects of yourself that may need to be dealt with. Again, it's just self-help. You see that there's something wrong with you, a character flaw, trauma that you need to deal with. This is just another way to peel back the layers. It's another way to go deeper than just surface level, which is where a lot of our deep-seated problems lie. It's not just surface level. It's not something that's a quick fix. It's something that we got to devote time and be dedicated toward fixing and dealing with. We have to be dedicated toward being a better us, or the best us that we could possibly be, or that we're meant to be on this earth while we're on this earth. Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, so there is no need to recreate the wheel. This 5 Whys formula was created by Sakachi Toyota. He's a Japanese industrialist and inventor and the founder of Toyota Industries. He's the one that went through and created the 5 Whys. He looked at his process, how he was analyzing problems, and this is how he came up with the best way to deal with it. There's no need to recreate the wheel. Mr. Toyota already came up with this idea, with this plan, this scheme, this format of how to deal with issues. Even though he was applying it to business, you can always apply it to several other things. Here recently, I applied it to myself, asking myself why 5 times. I was going through what I was going through and what I was dealing with, and I came to a surprising revelation. It wasn't something that I wouldn't have known or that I didn't know, but getting to the root of the problem, I saw that it's myself. It's not something outside of me, which is what we already know. We already know that it's us. It's not the world beyond us, because our external world is just a reflection of our internal lifestyle or our internal environment. So the many other tools that we discussed earlier in the 5 Whys are ways to help us get back our power, get back on track. The reason behind the concept of the 5 Why method is Mr. Toyota understood that stubborn or recurrent problems are often symptoms of deeper issues. Quick fixes may seem convenient, but they often solve only the surface issues and the waste resources that could otherwise be used to tackle the real cause. I feel that A lot of us sometimes we spin our wheels, and it's not because we want to. It's just because sometimes getting deep and really looking yourself in the face is hard at times. Sitting in silence and just being with yourself and meditating on what do I need to fix, what do I need to do, and seeing that you're the only true problem in your life. You need to fix your mindset and the actions that you take on a daily basis, and what you give your attention to, and what we welcome and what we usher into our life, the way we talk to ourselves. All of that is us. Nobody else has power over us. The way people talk to us, the way people treat us, none of that matters, because it's all about your mindset. And sometimes getting deep down and asking yourself, who is the face of my problem, or what is the root of my problem? That answer is often hard to take, it's hard to bear. But if we want to be successful, we want to be the best us that we could possibly be, we have to deal with the root issues. We have to dig deep and address that trauma. We have to dig deep and look face to face with that the harsh reality that it is us. So this method is remarkably simple. When a problem occurs, you drill down to its root cause by asking why 5 times. Then when a countermeasure becomes apparent, you follow it through to prevent the issue from reoccurring. Countermeasure is a very important word, and I wasn't aware of this comparison I'm about to make, but after doing some research on Mr. Toyota and his 5 why methodology, I see that it's a very important distinction that needs to be made. And I will now continue to make this distinction from this point forward. So he was talking about countermeasures, and the distinction that he makes is between countermeasures and solutions. So he wants to achieve countermeasures at the end of the 5 whys rather than a solution, because in Mr. Toyota's mind, or based on his concept, a countermeasure is an action or a set of actions that seek to prevent the problem from arising again, while a solution may just seek to deal with the symptoms. And again, we're trying to deal with the root cause. So looking for solutions to our problems is ineffective. We want to make countermeasures, things that will derail negative behavior and will cause a change from that moment forward, something different to occur, something better to occur, and for it to occur for the duration, not just for a short period of time, but for the duration. So how do the 5 whys work? So first you have to assemble a team. You have to gather together people who are familiar with the specifics of the problem and with the process that you're trying to fix. So if you're just dealing with you, then it's a team of me, it's a team of I. But if it's something at work or a family issue or something like that, something between you and your spouse, you need to gather all involved parties who know specifically what the issue is. You don't want to gather people who are going to put input in that's irrelevant, because that's not going to help us achieve our countermeasure. That might help us get a solution, but we're not here to get solutions. We're here to get countermeasures. Second, you define the problem. If you can, observe the problem in action. Discuss it with your team and write a brief, clear statement that you all agree and understand. Have a purpose. You know that there's a problem, but have that problem defined. Like, don't sit down and say, hey, I know there's a problem between us, I don't know what it is, but be definite, be purposeful, address the issue at hand. Don't just say there's a problem, because if there's a problem, then you need to take time by yourself to ask yourself, what is the problem? So that when you get your team together, you can say, hey, this is the problem that I see. This is the problem that I see. This is why I think it's a problem. What do y'all think? You kind of define the problem. And then once you have the problem defined, then you can start digging down deep and getting to a countermeasure that will be successful. But if you don't have a direction to go, and you're just wandering around in a general sense, you might gravitate towards a different problem that's not the main problem at hand or the main issue. Number 3, you have to ask the first why. Ask your team why the problem is occurring. Once you got the problem identified and defined, why is it occurring? Why is this going that way? Why can't we seem to get past this? Whatever, just have it defined. But this is why defining the problem is so important, because you can't go to step 3 without step 2. Number 4, ask why 4 more times. For each of the answers that you generate in step 3, ask 4 further whys in succession. Each time, frame the question in response to the answers you've just recorded. So just dig deep. You got that first question, why is this happening? Somebody says, well, it's because of this. So ask another why. Okay, why is it because of that? And then you just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. But then it's equally as important to know when to stop. And that's step 5. You'll know that you reveal the root cause of the problem when you're asking why produces no further useful responses, and you can go no further. So again, you're digging down to the root cause. Once you get to the root cause, you have it identified, you agreed that is the root cause. Now it's time to create countermeasures, and that's step 6. You address the root cause. Now that you've identified at least one root cause, you need to discuss and agree on the countermeasures that will prevent the problem from reoccurring. And number 7, you just have to monitor your measures, your countermeasures, your success, and what you're doing to change the outcome or create a different outcome for what you've been experiencing previous to identifying the problem and creating a countermeasure. Now, when you're doing it by yourself, you're going to be the only person that will be a part of this process. And when I did it the other day, it wasn't a process that took long, but it was a process that you have to be intentional about, because again, you're looking for countermeasures, not solutions. And a lot of the time we like to dance around the subject. It's instead of getting straight to it, we just want to, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But those are all just solutions. They're quick fixes. They're on the surface type of remedies. And once you drill down and ask yourself meaningful why questions, the root cause almost jumps out and reveals itself. And it's not always something that we want to hear. It's not always something pleasant. But if we're gonna be on this journey to be our best selves, to be the best us that we could possibly be, we're gonna have to address the root cause of a lot of our issues, the undealt with traumas, the late nights, the early mornings, the lack of effort, the effort in the wrong direction. We have to manifest what we want and stuff like that. There's so many aspects of this journey of life. It's almost mind-boggling, but there are so many laws and principles that we aren't taught, that aren't commonly circulated, that we should be aware of, that will help us take control of our life, that'll help us take control of the trajectory of where our success is going. We're not living life in a general manner, or just unintentionally. Like, success is not unintentional. It's a very intentional aspect of life, and it's achieved by having a direction, having a purpose, and operating in certain principles and manifesting certain aspects of life. And I'm learning this stuff as I go along, stuff that I wish I would have known back when I was 19, 18. I was doing it, but I didn't know that I was doing it. I wasn't aware of the fact that I was executing certain principles in my life, and I was experiencing success, and I was experiencing momentum towards the goal that I wanted. And then I just hit a brick wall that derailed me from the direction that I was going, and because I was derailed, I got in a totally different mindset, a totally different space, a totally different frame of mind, which got me away from those principles that I had embraced so early on in life, when my imagination was running wild and the world was mine. I had no fear, and I just knew that everything was going to go the way that I wanted it to. And then life showed me, that in order to get what you want, you have to sacrifice things. You have to be focused, be driven. You can't be sidetracked. You have to be very, very intentional and specific in how you execute, daily processes and daily disciplines. And I got off track, honestly, and I wasn't doing that to the best of my ability. But I'm getting back on track. I'm discovering these laws. So instead of doing it unintentionally, just kind of doing it and getting lucky, I'm intentionally executing these laws and these things that we talk about. And I'm starting to see success, a change in my mindset, a peace in my spirit, a balance in my life, being present, being grounded, being grateful for the journey. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm better than where I was yesterday. I'm making progress. I got traction now. And that's what's important. Instead of feeling like you're just in life spinning your wheels and you're not going anywhere and you don't know why you're doing what you do, or what's the reasoning for this, or why is this happening to me, all of that stuff is irrelevant. I just got traction, and that's all I need. So if I gotta fight, if it's gonna be easier, if it's, whatever the case is, I at least got traction. So with that traction, I'm gonna crawl, walk, run, whatever I gotta do towards my goals and my dreams, so that I can create a better life, not only for me, but for my family, for my daughters, and for those who I don't even know that might be listening to this message, that just need that pick me up, or just need these concepts that we discuss at our early ages that might lead them to be the next, Bill Gates, or the next, I don't know, inventor that will create something that will change society in a grandiose way, because you never know who you're going to affect, in the meantime, while you're doing what you were meant to do and you're fulfilling your purpose in life. So again, this is just yet another tool that we can put in our toolbox, that we can carry with us, that we can execute on a daily basis, that'll help us get closer to achieving our dreams and our goals. Again, do your research on this subject. This is just something to get you thinking in the right direction, something to, spark your mind, spark your interest, and I hope that you dive deeper and you get more out of it. This is just the beginning. This is just surface level. Let's get down to the root cause of it and create greatness together.